Rest in peace, Roy Ayers. Got the news that he passed away, and he had been battling for some time. He had been pretty low key with everything, so it wasn't apparently. It must have been something that he had been low key about, but for some strange reason, it wasn't surprising. He was one of the baddest musicians ever. And when I say this, I'm talking about a guy that I almost listen to every weekly. It's funny too, because on my playlist, I was just grooving to searching. I'm talking about a guy that musically knew no boundaries: jazz, funk, fusion, vamps. A guy that you could just groove to. Probably arguably the most important vibraphonist musician since Lionel Hampton, and he put it into a funk context with crazy vamps. Everybody loves the sunshine. He was so impactful to the neo soul movement, to the groove movement. He had Don't Stop the Feeling was one of my jams. I just would listen to his music and it puts you in a hypnotic trance. He's one of those artists that when you listen to him, you just hear layers of groove. No one ever talks about how a guy who could just ride a vamp, who could ride a groove like him, just amazing. The tonality, the spiritualness of the music, the depth of the music, just uncanny, incredible. And he had a way of just kind of putting that in there in the context. He's one of my favorite musicians. He's one of those guys that I could just groove to, because that's what you did. If you wanted a groove-based musician, he was one of the ones that's the first one that comes to mind. And think about it. His music and his vibe could work with any style. I think about back in the day, he was getting played on R&B as much as he would on jazz stations, and very much hip. Hip hop embraced him. A lot of people embraced him that were about to some groove. And as a big Rick James fan too, they worked together. Love their work together. I remember they did a record together, but they also on Dance With Me, Rick James's classic. That vibe solo was sick. It was sick. And then he did vibes on Ladies' Choice for the Stone City Band too. So if you were into that sound, he laid down a foundation that you couldn't avoid. He put the groove down. He really put the groove down. One of those artists that you couldn't even begin to count, but if you used his music in the backdrop where you were, you felt that energy, you felt that aura, you felt that vibe. One of those artists that he hit you in a spiritual light, sensual light, and struck a chord. So he will definitely be missed. His music lives on. And like I said, I've been grooving and searching the past week. Just always feel the vibe over here. Because that saxophone rapper Ed O.G. and Building Be a Father, a lot of his songs were used for samples and loops. And he really became an important, respected composer, arranger, producer, the whole nine. One of the greatest to ever do it. Rest in peace, Roy Ayers.